Hi, so I want to talk about what happens if you're taking my advice and it doesn't work. What I'm telling you is that when you're fighting, instead of fighting back, that you care about your partner's feelings and in a very supportive, caring, not a condescending or patronizing way, but in a very authentic way, you say, hey, I see how badly you feel right now. I see how angry you are, and I care about that. And I don't ever want you to feel that way when you're with me. So let's talk about this, and I care about how you feel right now. What if you say that and they say, oh, you're being so great. Oh, you're being so wonderful. Oh, I'm just crazy, right? Or what if they keep coming at you in a crazy way, like they act like you didn't say anything, and they just keep on hitting you with the same kinds of accusations, or they say, oh, this isn't real, or they shut down on you. They get passive aggressive and they walk away. And so you feel like what you just tried doesn't work. What I want to say is actually it is working, and they are going to change dramatically. But here's what's going on. The two of you have created this dance that you do with each other, this script, where you both know your lines. You both are familiar with how you fight. So even though you hate it, it makes you feel comfortable in this weird way. And indeed, you've created this based on your own coping skills that you've brought with you from childhood or from your social or professional life. So this is the mode you go into when you feel uncomfortable. This is a way of sort of protecting yourself. This is the armor that you put on. So it's very hard for you to surrender this, and it's hard for your partner to. If you think about it, what you are doing is you are removing, you're taking away from your partner the you that they are counting on you to be. You fit into their life in a certain way. The two of you have developed this script where you both know your roles. And so you're taking that away from them. So they feel afraid, they feel confused, they feel very uncomfortable. And so they're going to continue to be mad because it's always easier to be angry than to experience the vulnerability of our discomfort, just like it is for you. Another thing that's going on is when you behave in this caring, mature way, on a deep level, they become aware of themselves. They're forced to face themselves. They're forced to face the fact that they are really being immature, and that they don't have the coping skills, and that you have actually you're threatening them because you've reached a level of deeper maturity. And actually, when we become aware of ourselves as not living up to the man or the woman that we want to be, it makes us not like ourselves. It makes us actually really dislike ourselves very much. But the experience of disliking ourselves is very painful. And rather than face that, we project that anger back outwards, back out at our partner, rather than have to deal with these painful feelings of self-rejection and self-loathing. But if you can see the big picture, what you will find is that it's getting in. If you can say to them, listen, I see how angry you are, and they're still yelling at you or they're still talking crazy, and you say, listen, that's not true, okay? But if you see it differently than I do, and I see it differently than you, that doesn't make me mad at you, and it shouldn't make you mad at me. I care about how you feel, and of course I care how I feel, and we can just work together to problem solve so that we both care about each other and just come closer together. And you can keep talking like this, and even if it's not getting in, you can stay this way, but what you can finally say is if it's really just not going anywhere, you could say, listen, I am not leaving you. I love you, but I don't feel like you're being rational right now, but I know that you will, and I want to talk to you after we calm down just a little bit. So it's okay, I'm not leaving you, but I'm just going to leave this conversation for a minute. Or I'm going to leave this conversation for 10 minutes, and then I'll come back, and when you're ready, we can just talk. And you can also say, listen, I don't deserve the way you're talking to me right now. I'm not talking to you that way, okay? But I'm not leaving you. I want to come back and talk about this with you. And what makes this different than what most people do is that when you leave, when most people leave, say, fine, I can't talk to you anymore, you're being nuts. There's this rejection. There's like the feeling, the emotional feeling is that they are leaving the relationship, which is not exactly right, but it's the emotional feeling. It's like you're cutting ties, I'm out of the relationship. And this is the deepest fear that is at the heart of your fight in the first place. It's the fear that your partner might not accept you, might reject you, won't love you anymore, will leave you. Even when you're fighting, this is what is at the fear at the heart of it. So when you explicitly say, listen, I'm not leaving you, I'm still here, then even if they fight you, even if they say, fine, go ahead, they are still being reassured at this primitive lizard brain level of fear. Or it's not even a lizard brain, it's really like a stage of childhood development. It's abandonment fears. It can come from your parents, or it can come from a fear that someone who's supposed to be a rock, a foundation, is going to emotionally betray you, is going to emotionally abandon you. And so you are soothing that, you are healing that, and you are caring about that even as you exit from the conversation. And what you find is that you might have to do this a couple of times. They might come back a few hours later and be like, listen, I really appreciate that. Let's talk. They probably will. But then it might still keep happening because this is their fight or flight. Their limbic system is activated in this panicky way. Why? Because they are afraid that this rock, this emotional cornerstone of their life, you, their partner, their beloved, is going to leave them, just like emotionally, just like perhaps their father or their mother did, or perhaps a family member, or maybe a best friend, who knows, and it could be a professional or a social thing. So you will find that they come back to you and they say, hey, I really appreciate that. But then they're going to keep getting triggered. So then next week or the next, day or week, you're going to have another fight and you're going to have to do it all over again. But if you can stay clear about the man or the woman that you want to be, that you want to show up as, and you keep offering this, all of a sudden, one day there's going to be some tension between the two of you, and your partner is out of nowhere going to say to you, I really care about how you feel, and I don't ever want you to feel that way with me. And they're going to be like, you're going to see it on their face, like, what are these words coming out of me? Because they are going to absorb everything that you've been doing. And then this will be a breakthrough, and you can continue from there. It's hard to stay this way because when somebody is coming at us yelling, and you're trying to say this to them, you're trying to say, listen, I care about how you feel, and they're yelling at you, first of all, that energy is kind of contagious. And so our immediate reaction is when we get pushed, we push back. And when someone yells, this energy takes on a momentum. So we both it snowballs, and you're both like yelling and getting louder and getting more, you're escalating each other. So it takes a great deal of presence and commitment and awareness and deliberate consciousness to stay where you are. Another thing is that we like to have our who we are being reflected back to us in the words of our partner, in the energy of our partner. We want to feel validated and acknowledged. So if we're being very calm and our partner isn't buying it, isn't acknowledging it, this is very frustrating. It's kind of like, combing your hair or putting on makeup without a mirror, so to speak. You need to see it reflected back to you, but you actually have to become comfortable with, like jumping off the cliff, like I know who I am being, and I experience myself as the man or the woman that I want to be. The deep truth of who you are, the mature, powerful man or woman that you want to be. This is the truth of your essence. This is the real you that is longing to develop. This is your highest potential that is longing to express itself. And it is true for your partner as well. They have the same potential for maturity and care and unconditional love within them. And when you discover and when you stand strong in this truth of the love that you are, and you give your partner this gift, then you create the space in your relationship for both of you to develop in this beautiful way that both of your hearts are longing for.